Prohibition is this idea to stop the drinking, manufacturing, and selling of beer. So in the end of World War I, or towards the end, many people stopped drinking beer since it contained wheat, and they wanted to give all the wheat to the soldiers fighting in World War I. It was also, if anyone drank beer, it was considered unpatriotic, since you'd be drinking beer you'd be like drinking that instead of giving it to the soldiers so they can like use it and fight for your country. Prohibition started from the 18th Amendment. The 18th Amendment was basically like making it law that you can't like drink beer, manufacture, or sell beer. So Prohibition came sort of after the 18th Amendment was law, because like a lot of people were fighting against that. And there were people who were with Prohibition and there were people who were against Prohibition. Gangsters were kind of in the middle, because they were with it since they made a profit, but they were against it because if they got caught, then they'd kind of be sent in jail. The regular people were against it because they would have to go and do it illegally. If they got caught, they'd be arrested. And then there were other people, like old women, would go and like destroy barrels of like beer, and because they didn't like Prohibition, they didn't, because of the unpatrioticness. You may have heard me earlier use the word speakeasies. If you're wondering what that is, well, basically it's like a hidden bar that you need to speak softly, and you need a password to get into. Speakeasies were normally hidden, and you'd have to knock on to get in. Once you were in, you had to speak really quiet, making the name speakeasies. Speakeasies were a legal way to get beer, and they were owned by the mafia, and this is one of the reasons why the mafia didn't want to get it stopped, because if they did, then they'd have to lose all the speakeasies. You may have heard of the name Al Capone before. Well, he had a big part in the Prohibition time. Basically, he owned a lot of speakeasies, and he was like the biggest gang around. He basically invented bootlegging. Bootlegging is like when you go from, or like you put like you bring you put like beer or alcohol in your boots while you're going into another country, and you transfer it. If it's like another country, another state, another city, you just transfer it over illegally. You may think of Valentine's Day to be all lovey-dovey, but to Al Capone, it's out for blood. On 1929, or Valentine's Day 1929, he sent his men dressed up as police officers to go kill another gang. So when the other gang thought they were being arrested, but instead it was a trap.